You're listening to The Vale This Week. I'm Nathan Spackman. On this edition, we head to Dinas Powys, where a petition has been launched to save the village's only remaining post office, to find out about the impact the closure could have if it went ahead. We'll look back on last week's King's Baton relay and ahead to Team Wales's chances in the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Jasmine will speak with the Vale FoodBank as it launches an urgent call after it's seen a donations drop by 28% over the last 3 years. Celia will speak to Age Connect's Cardiff and Vale as it looks to increase its volunteer numbers to support its befriending scheme in the Western Vale of Glamorgan. And Ruby finds out more about a campaign to double donations at Amelia Trust Farm during Small Charity Week. All that plus a roundup of sports, top local news stories, and what's going on in and around the Vale of Glamorgan. Let's first begin, though, in Dinas Powys, where concerns have been raised over the potential closure of the village's only remaining post office. Morrison's, which operates the Morrison's Daily store on Castle Drive, is planned to close it later this year. The closure would see the existing post office close too. With no other post office in the village, residents and local councillors have raised concerns about having to travel to Barry, Sully or Penarth to access services if the post office were to close. Malcolm Phillips is a Plaid Cymru councillor on Dinas Powys Community Council and has led on a petition against the closure. I spoke to him earlier this week on Castle Drive, and he began by telling me about when he first heard about the potential for the closure.
There'd been some rumours going around on social media, but you know what it's like with rumours, you've got to try and get it confirmed. And one of my other councillor colleagues made some inquiries, and it was confirmed that Morrison's are closing the store, which you see behind me, and of course the post office franchise is within there. So our concern is we had very little that we could do to stop Morrison's closing the shop. But we've suffered in the past year in Dinas with where we lost another post office up in the village. So if this one was to go, then we've got nothing. So my colleague wrote to the Chief Executive Officer of the post office to try to clarify whether it was happening. They confirmed that, and we were given a date of I think it was the 6th of July. So we're talking next week, and that's the sort of notice. So yeah, it is confirmed Morrison's are closing, and obviously the post office would go.
Now, whilst there are other post offices in Barry, Sully or Penarth, Dinas Powys now only has one after the other closed a number of years back. Malcolm says its closure will impact many people who still rely heavily on its services.
We've got somewhere in the region of a population of 9,000 here in Dinas Powys, and it's mixed age groups, but particularly there's quite an elderly population here who rely on the post office for paying bills, etc., and getting the money, etc. And the reaction was, quite alarming, because a lot of anxious people. They were concerned about how they would carry on their sort of daily basis. This is why I decided to organise and start this petition with a view of getting as many signatures as we can so that we can show strength to obviously the post office that we need to keep this, whichever we can, that it's vital for our community. The nearest post offices from here is either Sully or Barry and Penarth. So that's okay if they are mobile and they've got some way of getting there, but as I've mentioned, we've got a very age profile in Dinas Powys that simply can't do that. So that's where there's a lot of anxiety, is that they wouldn't be able to get to Sully, they wouldn't be able to get to Penarth, and they wouldn't be able to get to Barry. Although we've got good public transport links, still, for them, there's a lot of anxiety and concern that they're worried about.
In recent weeks, councillors have been gathering signatures through a number of locations, including on Castle Drive outside the post office, with a campaign reaching close to 1,000 signatures to date.
We've had mixed reactions saying, perhaps the petition won't work, but then others have said, well, the more that we get, it's strength, and it's strength in numbers, and that's what we've got. We're close on, at the moment, coming up to 1,000 signatures, and that's in a matter of 2 weeks. But we haven't been here, for hours. We've selected, an hour here, an hour there, and we've been going around different areas in the village. Like this morning, I was out over at Vale Court, getting signatures there. And we've got another session this evening outside our local library. So we're giving the residents plenty of opportunity to come and sign this, and we've actually had requests for that on social media. We've got a local sort of page here on the media. And as a result of those requests, we've done some evening sessions.
With the closure of the store due to take place later in the year, councillors and residents are hoping a new franchisee can take on the post office location.
Yeah, going back from the sort of response that my colleague had from there, but there was a little bit of a mix-up where it was. It said in the response that they were keen to look for people to take over the franchise for the post office side of it. So we've had, whilst we've been carrying out our signatures here, we've actually had 3 interested parties have come to us and said they've shown an interest. So we've pointed them in the right direction to contact post office and try and, get the franchise.
That was Dinas Powys Community Councillor Malcolm Phillips chatting to me on Castle Drive earlier this week. A spokesperson for the post office told Bro Radio our retail partner Morrison's have reviewed their Morrison's daily store operations and, subject to colleague consultation, are proposing to close their store at Merch. Consequently, the post office branch at this location would also need to close. We fully recognise the inconvenience this will cause our customers who rely on our banking and parcel services in particular. Should the decision be confirmed that the store is closing, we will then provide any closure date for a post office at that location. We will soon advertise the vacancy for the branch on our runapostoffice.co.uk website. The post office confirmed that no resignation has been received regarding its post office at 13 Glebe Street in Penarth. A spokesperson for Morrison's told Bro Radio that proposed closure will take place in early October, and it was never the plan to close the store in July. Now then, let's get a roundup of the week's other top local news stories in the Vale of Glamorgan with Kane McMahon.
Resident sports clubs and community groups in Barry are being asked for their views on the future of Colcott Sports Centre and the Buttrells playing fields as the Vale of Glamorgan Council begins a new round of early stage engagement. The council says no decisions have been made about the sites and have confirmed that previous proposals, including those involving housing, are no longer being pursued. Instead, the authority wants to start a new conversation with the community about how the facility should develop in the years ahead. A company will use a former aircraft hangar to start building electric cars that promise to be a wholly Welsh-built product after the Vale Council gave consent for the plans. Morris Commercial Limited have been given permission by the Vale of Glamorgan Council to reuse an aircraft hangar in Baton as a facility for the assembly of electric vehicles. In the meeting to approve the development, the proposal was overwhelmingly supported by the councillors on the planning committee. Cardiff Airport has launched a new awareness campaign aimed at helping young people stay safe while travelling abroad, created in memory of Roost teenager Tom Channon, who died in holiday in 2018. The airport is working closely with Tom's parents John and Kerry Channon to promote the Stay Aware, Stay Safe and Stay Together message. A series of posters have now been installed across high footfall areas in the check-in and departures halls, encouraging passengers, particularly first-time holiday makers, to look out for one another. St Nicholas Church in Wales Primary School have become one of only 2 primary schools in the Vale of Glamorgan to achieve UNICEF UK's prestigious Rights Respect in Schools Gold Award. The accolade, confirmed in January, recognises schools that embed children's rights into everyday school life, from classroom practice to leadership and decision making. Gold is the highest level awarded by UNICEF UK. The school has been working towards the award since 2018, securing silver in 2022 before progressing to gold this year. And this year's Vale Food Trail has wrapped up with strong support from residents, visitors and local businesses, attracting more than 1,500 people to events across the Vale of Glamorgan. Held from the 24th of May to the 7th of June, the 2-week programme highlighted the strength and diversity of the Vale's food and drink sector. A total of 32 events took place at farms, cafes, restaurants, markets and independent venues throughout the county.
You're listening to The Vale This Week from Bro Radio. Now, one of the other top news stories from the last 7 days was, of course, the King's Baton Relay, which began on Barry Island last Friday before taking a 3-day tour across Wales ahead of the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow next month. The team at Barry Dock RNLI played an important part in proceedings, and I sat down with Operations Manager Bill Kitchen at the RNLI station ahead of the baton arriving.
And you've been at the RNLI for a couple of years, haven't you, now?
Yeah, I started in the shop when the shop started in Barry in 2015, then became Launch Authority 2019, and then took over as the LOM a couple of years ago now. So I've been doing the Lightboat Operations Manager's job for 2 years, nearly 3.
And what does that kind of role see you do?
Just look after the general day-to-day after operation, make sure that we're available 24/7, 365 days a year, look after the volunteers, and ensure that we are fully ready and operational for anything that may come up.
And we're now kind of heading into the busy summer season, which becomes much busier for you, more shouts and calls, things like, typical things here, Whitmore Bay being one of the busiest beaches, but also things like Celia. So it's a busy time of year for you and the volunteers, isn't it?
It is, yes. We're currently up to 29 shouts already this year, and probably by the end of the summer we'll see that double to maybe 1.5 times. So we're expecting, hopefully with the good weather, the calls go up.
And we've already seen this year is a huge year for the RNLI at Barry Dock as well, 125th year, and you've already begun some celebrations, haven't you?
We have. We had an open day down at with Craft Republic down on the docks, where the boat came round and did demonstrations. Fortunately, we had super weather last Saturday, so that was beautiful. And then we have a gala dinner in the middle of July at Atlantic College, which is where the B class Atlantic 85 was actually designed, and then they sold that to the RNLI for £1, and that boat is still continuing to service all around the country.
And this today is kind of quite a nice moment, really, in that 125 years. So you're part of this Baton relay starting on Barry Island Day. So tell us a bit about the team's involvement in today's event.
Yeah, it's a wonderful event to be able to be part of. The crew will be coming in shortly and getting themselves ready to go out, and we'll pick the baton up, and then we'll bring it into Whitmore Bay and pass it to our lifeguards who are on their 25th year anniversary as well. So it's all really come together quite nicely for us, and then that will go onto the beach and make its way around Wales. And the crew will come back and have a nice cup of tea, and away we go.
So that was RNLI Barry Dock's Operation Manager Bill Kitchen, one other person playing an important role in the Baton relay and all of Team Wales's journey during the Commonwealth Game. Delivering it to Barry Island on a Shannon-class lifeboat was TV's Gethin Jones, who's the Team Wales chef de mission.
Great to have you here on Barry Island. Thanks for coming on and being part of this special moment, really, isn't it, for the start of the Commonwealth Games up in Glasgow next month?
Absolutely, yeah. It's sort of the official beginning of the journey, if you like, to the Commonwealth Games. For the last 18 months we've been building up to Glasgow, and this feels very special on a personal level, being back in Barry, part of my childhood, and breaking my nose on the log flume all those years ago, to being here now as chef de mission for Team Wales. A big day. We've announced the athletes that will be going to Glasgow, 114, and I'm about to jump on a boat with the brilliant people at the RNLI, and what a way to start the journey of the Baton. The only brief I've had today so far, Nathan, is don't drop the baton in the water. That would be a very bad start to proceedings.
Well, hopefully, I think we said it's wood. Hopefully it'll float if it does happen, but hopefully
they'll have a plan, won't they? They'll have a plan.
They'll have a plan. So tell us a bit about what your role means as chef de mission. What does that mean for anyone who doesn't know that role and what it is?
I think that's an interesting question, because outside of the military or sporting world, everyone thinks you're making the omelettes for the team come Glasgow. Chef de mission means it's a French term for leader of the team. This year it's slightly different to the role over past years, which has probably been more operational and logistical. This year it's an ambassadorial role, a figurehead or a spokesperson, if you like. I think everyone knows that the Games has changed slightly. Glasgow is very much a reimagined Games. It's supposed to be in Victoria. We're grateful to Glasgow for hosting it. So part of my job is trying to help create the best possible atmosphere and environment for the athletes to succeed in Glasgow, and also try and get the word out that the Commonwealth Games is happening, trying to get the whole of Wales, from the hills to the ocean and everyone in between, to cast their eyes on Glasgow this year and support our Welsh stars. And they inspire me. Their journeys, their sacrifices are incredible. A lot of them hold full-time jobs, and come July they'll be taking on the world's best, and it's pretty amazing to watch. And you don't have to love sport, Nathan, to love the Commonwealth Games. There's people wearing the red of Wales. Get behind the team.
I think it's that thing, is it, when it comes to the Olympics, the Commonwealth Games, you might not like a sport, you might not follow it all year round, but when it comes to it, you properly get invested in it, don't you?
It's so true. I think the Winter Olympics was the same, wasn't it? We were all watching the half pipe go. We'd be all a bit of an expert on it, you're right. But you mentioned the Olympic Games and the Commonwealth Games. Commonwealth Games is special because you're wearing the red of Wales.
Yeah.
It is different for the athletes. I think they would tell you that. And the challenge is to bring 10 sports together as one team, Team Wales. They will wear the same kit. They're representing the same one team, which is a special thing to do. And especially with not having the village this year in Glasgow, sort of different hotels, like I say, it's very different. Our challenge for the team behind the team is make sure everyone feels that unity and bond.
And that team's been announced today as well, so that's where you're going to head from here into Cardiff, and you've got a strong team going up to Glasgow to represent Wales as well.
114 athletes, 22 para athletes. We've got Olympic world champions in there, some going for the first time, some young athletes too. We're very proud of the team. It feels like a really strong team, and we just hope, like I said, that we can provide the best environment for them to succeed this year in Glasgow. And very shortly I'll be down in Cardiff Met, where we'll sort of show the team to our partners and sponsors and members of the public who are coming down as well. So yeah, it's a proud day for those selected and their families.
And the Commonwealth Games takes place in Glasgow in late July into early August. We're now going to hear from the Vale FoodBank, where demand for support continues to grow across the Vale of Glamorgan. Jasmine has more.
With demand rising and donations dropping, the Vale FoodBank is under growing pressure. We spoke to Graham about upcoming events and initiatives that need support from our community.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Vale FoodBank and the work you do in the community?
Yeah, so we're a charity based in the Vale of Glamorgan, and essentially we provide food parcels for people who are in crisis. So if people are in a position not to put food on the table, we're there to help out.
You've said your demand for your services is up by more than 17% compared with the last year. What does that look like in terms of real life for local families?
Figures are a lot higher than they were this time last year. May 26 versus May 25, 20.5% increase. We've noticed this really from the beginning of the year. So what we think is happening is the cost of living crisis may be slowing down, but things aren't getting cheaper. So people who are already struggling are being pushed over the edge more frequently. So we're seeing this huge demand for food parcels for people who are having to turn to us because they're in trouble. But the other thing with the cost of living crisis is it doesn't just affect people on the margins, it affects everyone. So people who traditionally buy a little bit extra every week in their supermarket shop and put some donations into our collection baskets, which we've got in all the supermarkets in the Vale, aren't able to do it as regularly or aren't able to put as much in each time. And the end result of that is we've seen a big drop off in donations. So again, just comparing year on year, 17.6% down May 26 on May 25. But when you look over the last 3 years, this has been a perpetual trend. So our donations are down by over a quarter. And of course, you don't have to be a genius mathematician to work out that if the donations keep dropping down and the demand for food parcels keeps increasing, there's going to come a point where we're going to be flat empty.
You're launching a Sponsor a Shelf initiative. Can you explain how that works?
Well, the Sponsor a Shelf idea is really aimed at collective. So whether you're a business, whether you're a school, whether you're a church, so basically groups of people. And there are certain items that we are always short of. So, for example, tinned meat has become quite expensive. Even something as basic as corned beef, which used to be really cheap. Now you could be paying £3 plus, depending on what brand. So there are certain items that we were always short on, which are part of the essentials list. The stuff that will always go into a food parcel. So the idea is, if you are a club or a society or a school, that you sponsor a shelf. You take responsibility for a shelf of an item that we are always short of. Now, that doesn't mean to say you can't donate anything else. You can donate other things as well if you want to, but once a month, it's up to you to try and make sure that one shelf is full of that one item. And the great thing about it is, you actually get to see the fruits of your labours, you know. So if you're just donating food, you don't always see what happens to it next. If you're responsible for a shelf and you know that shelf is full, then you've got a sense of ownership and a sense of achievement as well.
As well as the Sponsor a Shelf initiative, you're also bringing back the Vale Food Bank pilgrimage this summer. What can people expect from that event?
The idea is we take people out on a walk. We have guest experts to join us on the walk, and they give us information about the places that we're walking past, and all the tickets, you know, every single penny that goes on a ticket to take part in this event goes straight to the food bank. So this time we're starting and finishing in Coastlands, which is where our headquarters are, and we're going to be walking around some of the old churches and chapels of Barry, some of which aren't even there anymore. We've got some fantastic local historians who are joining us, including Nick Hodges from the Victorian Barry Experience, and they're gonna be helping us out, bringing the whole thing to life, to make it a bit of fun, make it a bit educational, and just to make the whole experience that much more. But the great thing is, for the £20 ticket you buy, every single penny this year is going to go straight into buying food parcels, so there'll be no wastage. And we're holding that on Saturday the 22nd of August. It'll start at 10 a.m. and anyone who wants to come along, if you just get along to Eventbrite and search for Vale Pilgrimage Walk for Vale Food Bank, you'll be able to find a link where you can buy tickets.
That sounds like an amazing fundraiser. If listeners can do one thing after this interview, what would you like it to be?
The immediate thing I would like them to do is, next time they pop down the shops, just buy one extra item that is on our most needed items list, which is always on our Facebook page, which is always on our website. Just get one extra item, because if everyone just bought one extra item, honestly, we would not have a problem.
And as well as buying one extra item at the supermarkets, how else can people volunteer or get involved with the Vale Food Bank?
Well, if anyone's interested in volunteering, then the first place I would suggest visiting our website, where there's a link through to a form you can fill out, or just email at info@vale.foodbank.org.uk and just express an interest. And we'll get in touch with you, whether you want to work in help out in the warehouse or help out in a specific food bank centre. But the website has also got loads of information about how else you can help. So whether that's volunteering, whether that's looking for a place where you can leave a food donation, whether it's looking to set up a direct debit for regular giving, or even if you want to leave something to the food bank in your will, you'll find links for all of these different ways that you can support us on the website. And the website, again, just jump onto Google and search for Vale Food Bank, or go direct, vale.foodbank.org.uk.
That was Jasmine speaking to Graham from the Vale Food Bank. Now, with a roundup of the week's local sport, here's Mike Fowler.
Starting with football, and in the World Cup, the final group matches are starting tonight from 8 p.m, where we're going to soon find out the makeup of the last 32 as the World Cup moves into its knockout phases. And also sticking with football, Baton United have announced 2 signings to their squad, and that's Sean Spence and Jack Shaw, and that's following 5 key departures already leaving Jenner Park. And also on Saturday, Barry Rugby Football Club, they held their very first Masters Rugby League match against the Swindon Bulldogs, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable match where the game ended, as all Masters Rugby League matches do, 0-0. But the biggest thing from that match was the smiles on the faces of players aged between 35 and 80 taken to the pitch. And in rugby union, in case you've missed Wales is playing, then they've got their first match of the summer against the Barbarians, and that takes place on Saturday, where the men's team take the Barbarians on at 2 o'clock before the women's team kick off at 5 p.m, and then that starts towards the summer tour, where Wales the following weekend take on Fiji. And in other news, with the Wimbledon just coming up around the corner, Barry Athletic Tennis Club are holding their open day on the 18th of July. So if you get inspired by Wimbledon, why not pop along between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. where you have fresh air, there'll be fun mini matches and games, there'll be food and drink and lots of excitement. And if it's anything like the last few weeks we've had, there'll be sun to enjoy as well. And another date for your sporting diary, the 23rd of July is when the start of the Glasgow Commonwealth Games happen, and that's until the 2nd of August. And to keep up with all your sporting action from around the Vale, you can listen to the Monday Night Sports Show on at 7 p.m, or you can listen again at broradio.fm or look for Bro Radio in the App Store.
You're listening to The Vale This Week from Bro Radio. Now, this week is Small Charities Week, and one charity based off the 5 Mile Lane is looking to double its donations during a fundraising activity. Ruby has more.
This week is Small Charities Week, and the charity Amelia Trust Farm are participating. The scheme spotlights smaller charities and doubles their donations. In addition, the young people involved with the farm have been coming up with some amazing ideas for fundraising this week. Paul, who oversees the various educational projects at Amelia Trust Farm, joins me now. Tell us a bit about the work your charity does.
So we offer an education environment in which young people have a bit of time and space to meet some of those challenges and to help develop their skills and self-confidence.
Yeah, that sounds excellent. So it's a very exciting time for you as you have been chosen to take part in Small Charity Week. What is this opportunity and how do you think it will impact on the running of your charity?
So through Small Charity Week, it's a brilliant opportunity for us because every penny that's donated through that week is matched by the postcode lottery. So we receive, for every pound, we receive two, which is an incredible opportunity for us because probably a lot of people don't realize that the farm is a charity and it is a small charity. So in order to do the kind of work we do with young people and the opportunities that we can provide, we need that support. So having that opportunity this week to increase the value of those donations is incredibly valuable to us. It is actually what enables us to have that impact in young people's lives.
Yeah. And obviously it's quite a small number of charities that are chosen each year, so I guess it must be a really great feeling to be selected.
It's been fantastic. I mean, what's been wonderful as well is obviously being selected and having that opportunity in the first place is great, but how people have responded to that has been incredible. The level of support and donations that we've received already, and it's only Wednesday, has kind of exceeded our expectations. It really feels like people have really got behind this campaign, and everybody at the farm, everybody working at the farm is just glowing this week at how much kind of support and encouragement we're getting from the community.
Oh, that is really brilliant. So you've been advertising quite recently, some of your young people involved with the farm will be undertaking a 50-mile walking challenge. That is very far. So tell us a bit more about this challenge and how people can get involved.
So we decided, actually it was really interesting, the idea for this came from a young person who attends our program. So we were present recently at the opening of the Cloybear Coedwig Cymru Trail. We went down to the launch of that in March, which was in Porthkerry Country Park. Part of that trail goes past the Amelia Trust Farm, so we were a presence there at the opening of the trail. I took a few young people down, and one of those young people said to me, "Wouldn't it be a good idea if we walked the whole of this trail one day?" So I said, "Well, yes, but also that's quite an undertaking. 50 miles is no small amount of miles to walk." But he was very keen. So when it came around to Small Charities Week, we thought, what a great opportunity to go and undertake this endeavor, and use that as an opportunity to kind of spotlight the work that we do with young people. So the plan was that young people would join us and we would walk over the space of 2 days, the entirety of that 50-mile trail, starting at the northern point, which at present is in Glenneath. and then finishing in Porthkerry, which is obviously closer to the farm. So a lot of preparation went into that, a bit of training with the young people. It came round to this weekend, and obviously temperatures went through the roof.
Yes.
So initially I said, okay, well, me and my colleague Lizzie will go out on the Sunday. We'll do the first day by ourselves, and then we'll have young people join us for the second day. Once we've kind of got the lay of the land. So Lizzie and I set off on Sunday morning. We had to make a really difficult call and say, do you know what? With the temperature increasing, I don't want to put any young people at risk. It was very hot out there. So Lizzie and I completed the trail, the two of us. But what we did do is ensure that young people were really involved still by being present at the end. So it was lovely to be met by a couple of our young people at the end of that walk. It was nice to see some familiar faces after that 2 days of scorching sun and sore feet. So even though the young people didn't actually take part in the walk, we feel that it was something that they came up with, something that they devised in order to benefit the farm. And I like that. I like the idea that the young people are thinking what they can give back to a place that they feel perhaps has given them a great deal.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you must be so proud of the young people who have been working tirelessly, providing their ideas for the charity.
It's been incredible, and like I say, unfortunately, the young people couldn't make the walk due to the extreme temperature. But we've had so many creative ideas being fired our way by the young people over the last couple of weeks. And actually, yesterday, a few of the young people here at the farm set up a small stall and were selling tie-dye t-shirts and tote bags that they'd made, as well as one young person took it on herself to cook a load of butterfly cakes over the weekend and brought those in. So just yesterday alone, the young people on site made over £125 in donations from the things that they created. So it was incredible to see, I guess, how much the farm must mean to these young people, that they would feel the need to really get behind and put so much effort into this campaign.
Yeah, and I mean the impact of the charity, like the opportunities you provide to these people must be just so felt and so appreciated.
I think I've been here for a few years now, and one thing I find is that you sometimes you'll be walking around site and you'll bump into somebody that used to come here, 5 years prior, and how often young people will turn to you in those moments and say, oh, coming here was a really big step in my journey. I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back now, I realize this is the place where I started to turn a corner. I remember one person who'd previously attended our program, one of our programs. I bumped into him a few years later, and he said something which was kind of like equally heartbreaking and heartwarming. And he said, like, I thought I didn't have any chances in life, but the farm didn't give up on me, so I thought maybe I wouldn't give up on myself. And it was just amazing to know that we'd had that kind of impact, just helping that person to find a bit of self-belief.
Yeah, I guess this is why opportunities like Small Charities Week are so good at highlighting the amazing work that our smaller charities do.
Absolutely. And I do feel, like I said, that without that support from the community, it's really hard for us to provide those opportunities for young people. And I think, I mean, obviously I'm going to say this, but I know the impact that can have in young people's life, and how transformative young people's time at the farm can be for them, just in helping them to, more than anything, just to overcome their own barriers and realize that they are capable of achieving and succeeding. So to receive those donations this week, any week really, but especially this week, is going such a long way. And it is a case of, every penny that we're getting is making a difference in a young person's life.
Yeah, so I think after hearing all of this, our listeners will be very keen to get in touch and donate. So is there somewhere they can go online that they can contact you or find out more?
Yeah, so if they head to our website, which is ameliatrust.org, there should be a link through that. Failing that, if they go to the Big Give website and again search up Amelia Trust Farm, they'll find us on there. There's on obviously a part where you can gift aid your donations as well. We really appreciate that. It means that your money goes even further when you make a donation. So either through our website or through the Big Give campaign. Alternatively, if you look on any of our social medias, Facebook and so forth, there will be links to the donation page on all of those platforms.
That was Ruby chatting to the team at Amelia Trust Farm around their activities during Small Charities Week. Now, one charity based here in the Vale is looking to bolster its volunteer numbers to support its services in the Western Vale of Glamorgan. Celia spoke with Samantha Campbell, who leads on the befriending scheme, earlier today, and began by finding out a bit more about the wider work of the charity.
So Age Connect Cardiff and the Vale is a charity. We're a multifaceted charity, and we have all different areas that we get involved in. The main thing that I get involved in is befriending and shopping services for older adults within the local community. We also have other areas that we work in as well. We have energy efficiency schemes, which are LEAP and our heat schemes. We also have our welfare broker services as well, which support older adults who have come out of hospital recently, and help access things like benefit allowances and stuff like that. But as I said, I work in the befriending and the shopping support schemes.
Okay, so you're leading the Good Neighbours scheme, aren't you, in the Western Vale?
Yes.
So what area does the Western Vale cover?
So primarily I deal with the little villages.
Right.
So anywhere that's not really Barry, because Barry is, as we all know, quite a big area.
Yes, yeah.
So I do assist in Barry and look after quite a lot of volunteers in regards to recruitment in Barry. I have a fantastic colleague called John, who looks after all the volunteers once they've been recruited in Barry. I personally manage volunteers within the Western Vale, though, so it's everywhere basically that's not Barry, so Cardiff to Bridgend.
Cool. So all the little places.
Yes, all the little villages. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit, what do you do when you say you manage the volunteers? What do they do?
So pretty much from first inquiry, so the first time they touch base with us and say, hi, I want to volunteer, to become fully board on as a volunteer and getting matched with the client. That's my remit. I also look after the clients as well. So the first time that I get a referral through, referrals can come from any kind of area as well. So I get referrals from clients from social services. I also get them from friends, from family, from anybody who comes to me and says, we have an older person who would like some support, or we feel that they need some support from your services, from the befriending or from the shopping services, or from, like a task services point of view. That will come to me. I will then assess that client, go out to their house, talk to them on the phone, and just see how we can best give them that support.
Okay, so when we're talking about older people, I mean, obviously, I'm nearing retirement. What kind of age upwards are you kind of saying would call for it, really?
65 plus.
Yeah.
Obviously there's some discretion in that as well, depending on circumstances, but it's generally 65 plus.
Okay, and how important is this in supporting, because there's a lot of older people over the age of 65, aren't there? How important is this scheme getting befriending going in the community?
It's very, very important. There is clients that I have met who haven't spoken to people for a month. I went and saw somebody in their property who hadn't used his voice in a month, and it breaks my heart. It does. It breaks my heart. The most valuable thing you can give somebody, if you have it, is your time, because you don't get your time back.
No.
And being able to sit with somebody and offer that companionship and just sit and have a cup of tea, because if somebody does have somebody coming in and talking to them, generally it's carers, or it might be family if they have close family. But when family come in, they're talking about their medication or their hospital appointment, which is completely necessary.
Yeah, and I can quite agree with that, because we were talking earlier, weren't we? And I was saying that my mother's quite poorly, but she's lucky in that she's got quite a good support network with us. But yes, we do. Most of my conversations are medical, so I can see what you mean, that sometimes you just need sometimes it's the social bit as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're currently running a volunteer recruitment scheme, aren't you? So what kind of people are you looking for?
anyone who has an hour to an hour and a half a week, that is all I'm looking for, is somebody who has an hour and a half a week who has something to talk about, who feels like they can give something back. You don't need transport. Because I have a lot of clients who will be local to you. I have approximately 20 clients on the waiting list who are waiting for volunteers for a companion, and I am having clients coming through pretty much daily who require somebody.
So it's quite an important thing that you need right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just an hour and a half, maybe to an hour and a half a week. So it's not a big commitment, is it?
It's not. No.
Is there any other kind of things that people are expected to do in this role?
So our initial induction process is that they would fill in an application form. It would come through to me. We would do the standard DBS check. They would do a short induction. Myself and my colleagues, we've just built an online induction process as well, so that's become a lot easier for anybody who wishes to undertake that. We have an app as well called Volunteero, where you can find out all the information and view the missions, which is basically a bio about our clients, which they're anonymous bios about our clients, where you can match. You will then undertake a 3-way match with the client.
I was going to say a bit like Tinder, but for Kay, but nothing like Tinder. Ignore that. Nothing like that. But that kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
The process.
That concept, loosely.
Nothing like Tinder.
And then you have a 3-way match with the client, the volunteer, and myself. And then if you get on, you crack on. The organic relationship builds from there, which is what we want. We want that organic companionship to build, so that the befriending relationship just grows naturally.
So you've got a lot of really good procedures in place, safety procedures, haven't you? So you're saying you've got all the training, which is fabulous. You're saying you've got all the DBS checks, which is obviously what we need as well. And like you said just now, so it's not you're going to go and see this person, and then if you don't click with them, it's well, no, that's who you're stuck with. It's very much, like you said, an organic thing. So it's finding the right fit for everybody, which is lovely, because sometimes when you are going in as a carer, that's your job, isn't it? You just go and you do it, and whether you like each other or not, it's a business association, isn't it, really? But when it's this, which is more of a befriending kind of thing, you want somebody who's going to click with you, so you're going to try and match people with the same kind of interests and things like that, aren't you? So that's really, really good. Right. Well, now we've got people piqued and interested, because to be quite honest, there's nothing wrong with going and sitting and chatting to somebody for an hour and a half. I chat to you for 2 hours every Wednesday lunchtime, isn't it? It's
tea and biscuits. I mean, tea and biscuits.
What's not to love, isn't it? This is it, exactly. So it's nice. So it's nice, and it's nice to get out and meet other people, and it can be good for people who are younger, who maybe need to get out and about a bit more, and they don't know that there are people they can go and chat to. And it's nice to hear about history and things like that as well sometimes, isn't it? And modern things as well. Right. So now that people are interested, how can they find out more? Where do we send them now to find out more?
The easiest way to find out more information about us is on social media, as anything else. Search for Age Connects Cardiff and the Vale on Facebook, and there is so much information about us on there, and you can get in touch via our Facebook page. You can call us, you can give us a call. Our phone number is 02920 683 600, or you can pop us an email, volunteer@ageconnectscardiff.org.uk. Someone will get back to you. It'll probably be me. Pretty much immediately, and send you over information, application forms, and we can get you started. If you have the time, please, the most important thing that you can give somebody is your time. We have a lot of isolated and vulnerable older people in our community who really would like the support of somebody to just come over and have a chat and offer that bit of companionship.
That was Samantha Campbell, lead of the Western Vale Good Neighbours scheme for Age Connects, Cardiff and the Vale of Glamorgan. Time now to take a look at what's going on in the Vale of Glamorgan over the next week with Rhiannon.
On Saturday the 27th, Caribbean Community Wales CCW continues its Wales-wide launch with an event in Barry. The event will be held at Jenner Park Stadium from 7:30pm to 11pm. The event is free and is part of a new initiative to bring people together from the Caribbean and their allies to celebrate culture, share history and help shape the Caribbean communities here in Wales. Also on Saturday, Penarth Conservative Club have a Robbie Williams tribute act. Scott Borley is a Maximum Robbie, brings you the ultimate Robbie Williams tribute show. Tickets are £15 and available from behind the bar at Penarth Conservative Club. Doors open at 7. On Sunday the 28th, the Two Bells in Barry will be raising funds for Velindre Cancer Centre by holding a charity darts tournament. The event starts at 4pm, ends at 10pm, entries £5 and there's a cash prize for the winner. Are you a new parent looking for something to do or meet other parents? The next Learn and Play toddler group will be on Monday the 29th at 9am to 11am. Held at the Gathering Place at St Athan, it's £3 a session. There's tea and coffee for yourself and there's snacks for your little ones. Next Friday, 3rd July, you can meet Alice Osman, who is the author of #1 best-selling Heartstopper series at Griffin Books, and celebrate the release of Heartstopper Volume 6. Tickets are £15 and includes a copy of Heartstopper Volume 6 and the opportunity to meet Alice and have your book signed. Head to griffinbooks.online.co.uk for more information and to book. Also, next Friday, if you're an ABBA fan, ABBAholics are coming to Penarth Pier Pavilion for a fantastic night of ABBA classics, including Mamma Mia and Dancing Queen. Doors open from 7. Tickets are £16.50 at Penarth Pavilion website. So penarthpavilion.ticketsolve.com. Well, and if you have something in need of repair, the Repair Cafe will be at Barry Library on the 4th of July, 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock, fixing your household items for free.
And that was the Vale this week from Bro Radio. Next week on the show, we'll be looking ahead to the Barrack Ward by-election, called, of course, because that election of previous Vale Councillor Mark Hooper, who was elected to the Senedd back in May. We'll meet some of the candidates standing in the Barrack Ward, which covers Barry Island and the waterfront area of Barry. In the meantime, if you've got a story to share, get in touch with us via email at news@broradio.fm. You can also hear the show each Wednesday from 7pm or catch up with any bits by searching for Vale This Week, where you get your podcasts.